So we're getting like the seventh season of Black Mirror, I believe. It just made me think how much technology has changed the whole movie experience. So, but it also made me wonder, like, what if we introduced like contemporary technology to like older movies, how it would completely ruin those movies. For example, the first thing that I thought about was like Pee-wee's Big Adventure. You have this character Pee-wee who goes on this big adventure. Movies back then made sense, the titles, right? To find his bicycle, which has been stolen. Well, today a simple air tag would completely destroy the premise of this movie, because they'd be like, well, with an air tag, we could just track this bike and there would be no big adventure. Another movie which has a similar premise, which is two guys go off on a big adventure to find their car, is Dude, Where's My Car? And today, low jack, air tags in the vehicle, or even Starlink, they could easily locate this car. Like it would, the premise of the movie would be flawed from the beginning. Then I think about other movies in the past, like horror movies, like for example, like Friday the 13th, Camp Crystal Lake would have Wi-Fi today. Like the campers would be able to call home for help. They'd be able to call 911. The new iPhones, they all have the satellite feature where you can use a satellite if there's no cell reception. So I feel like horror movies have to be more creative and be written smarter now, that you just can't say, oh, I left my cell phone at home, because cell phones now work in the wild, right? You could be in a desert and you could use the new satellite features to send a text. So I feel like this is going to change the way horror movies are written, because it's a little bit harder now to isolate your characters. Think about Home Alone, for example. Macaulay Culkin's character gets left behind, something that in 2025 couldn't happen. There's smartwatches, there's Ring cameras. There's so many ways to stay in contact with someone. So if he was left behind, he would have an iPad. He could call his parents on their phone. They could send DoorDash right to his door. Like the movie would be so different. Like the idea of just leaving a kid behind in 2025 and the parents will have no way to communicating with them. It just doesn't make any sense. There's too many smart devices and gadgets like to get in contact with that person. Think about Scream. With Call ID, they would be able to track and see who's calling on that phone, right? They would get Ghostface right away if Scream happened today. So it just made me think about all these movies, how they changed so much. The Blair Witch Project was an awesome indie movie. But today, they would have satellite reception. They would have a tracker. They would have smart devices. This happened in 1999. After 2007, the world changed. And I feel like the Blair Witch Project, even though today, unfortunately, there's still tragedies and people get lost out there, but there's so many ways to keep track of people and so many devices that can be used to keep track of people. It makes it a little bit more complicated for the writing. So I'm going to give you one more. How about The Ring? The premise of the movie is basically it's a haunted VHS tape that if you watch it, you die in X amount of days. This creature, demon, whatever, crawls out of the TV and gets you. Well, in 2025, there's no VHS tapes. So the amount of people that would get, they would have, there's not even really CDs. I know they talk about physical media is coming back, but even haunted record, like haunted DVD, there's the Polaroid movie, where it's a Polaroid camera that takes a picture and you die in X amount of days. You seen that movie? So I feel like all these haunted item movies wouldn't be able to work today, because it's 2025. Everything is digital. It would have to be a haunting streaming movie, right? That's haunted. So there's something to think about. This is a Tone Show. Tone Show.